Okay. All right. I can share my screen.
That
Sorry,
means
one
you'll have to
second.
stare at the keyword outline too.
What's that?
That means everybody's gonna have to stare at the keyword outline too.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I didn't restart it. Okay. Okay. Just to make sure you all can see like my presentation and that's the main focus. Like you're not seeing my desktop or anything, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, so staying safe while skiing or snowboarding. A lot of people may think while they're skiing or snowboarding that they don't need a helmet and that they've been doing it for years. And that is understandable to a certain degree, but just because you are experienced in something, that doesn't mean like you can predict exactly what's going to happen in the future. Today, I'm going to be sharing information from trusted resources like Boston's Children's Hospital, a government outline on how to stay safe while skiing and snowboarding, and just my own personal experience. Um, this is a matter that should be discussed because how often people get hurt on winter sports hills due to them, thinking that it'll be fine or it's just like too uncomfortable and that they don't need it, which is far from the truth. We all want to be comfortable and free when we are doing an activity like skiing and snowboarding. However, we need to take necessary precautions while doing so. It's important to wear a helmet, follow the trail rules, go on hills that match your your skill level, and prepare for the weather accordingly through wearing the right warm clothes. When skiing or snowboarding, it's important to do so safely and comfortably for your sake and others. I really want to talk about how important this kind of safety is. The leading cause of death in skiing and snowboard is traumatic brain injuries, which are all caused by crashes and collisions. According to Boston's Children's Hospital, you have more of a chance of getting a brain injury without a helmet rather than with a helmet. So the problem is that there's so many things you can do wrong on a hill. You can forget to wear a helmet, disregard hill etiquette and the safety of others while going down the hill, not wear the correct warm clothing for the weather, and not wearing your helmet can increase your chances of getting a brain injury if you were to fall. And disregarding hill etiquette can be extremely dangerous because the people in front of you have the right of way, and if you're not considerate of that, you can cause a pileup of just a bunch of people falling over each other, and that can be really dangerous because that can snowball out of control pretty quickly. It's also not a very good idea to be underdressed for the weather. It can easily result in frostbite if you're not careful enough. And a good way to prevent that would be to just consider your activity level, keep track of what the weather might be, and keep track of what the weather might be that day you ski or snowboard. The causes of these issues are a lot simpler than you may think. When it comes to hill etiquette and rules, there's always a reasonable possibility as to why some people don't follow them. Sometimes people simply just forget their helmet and all their essentials. Um, Sometimes when they're going down the hill, it's easy to just zone out and not be aware of your surroundings. But unfortunately, the most common reason is that a lot of people just don't care and think they're experienced enough to ignore those rules. A study that came out in 2015 by ASTM International says that over a 17 season period, uh, the number of people opting to wear a helmet went from 8% to 84%, which is an amazing improvement. Um, the thing I'm just trying to like get across is like, what if someone in front of you abruptly falls a foot away and you can't turn? What if you forget all your warm essentials like your gloves and your scarf and it's 0 Fahrenheit? Like, what if you forgot your goggles and you aren't wearing a helmet and you go down a hill with moguls, which are hill bumps that more experienced people use? And what if you go down the hill without looking and the person that merges and runs into you isn't wearing their helmet? I mean, like anything could happen while you're on that hill. The problem of people ignoring safety precautions can be solved through a couple of easy steps. Um, a, a One of the solutions would have to be just that remembering that you are with people and you're always with people while you're skiing and snowboarding, and you can just ask questions with the people you're going with to help you understand more how you can stay safe on the hill. And I think a much more broader solution to this issue would just have to be making sure that people at these ski resorts are a lot more informed. So infographics around like the lodges where you rent your supplies, maybe like the restaurants around ski resorts, that would help people and remind them what to do, and it would steer them in the right direction of being more safe. Um, to a certain degree, it's a lot more important why some people may choose not to take precautions. Sometimes, some people can argue that fluffy snow can make it more safe to ski and snowboard, but which is true. Depending on the type of snow, it can be really fluffy and it can actually compact your fall. But, just because you're having fun and you're experienced doesn't mean there are other ways you can't hurt yourself. There's still danger, even though that is less dangerous. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you can get caught on loose snow and collide with a tree or a patch of dry and rocky ground.
You have hit
Once
that
you
5 minute mark. I just want to let you know.
Okay. Once you have understood that all that is needed to be safe on a skiing vacation, you can have a lot of fun. The most obvious benefit of wearing a helmet is that, it compacts any fall that that you might endure. But another big bonus is that wearing a helmet, so, a lot of helmets are insulated because most ski helmets come with padding, which will do as much good as wearing an extra hat. And there's nothing wrong with staying extra warm while you're out there. Speaking of staying warm, that wearing warm clothes can be a lot more rewarding than just keeping you warm. I mean, like if you were to fall, if you were to fall in snow, like winter coats and snow pants, they also keep you dry. And keeping dry is just as important as keeping warm, and no one wants to be like wet while they're trying to go down the hill. Um, so yeah, in conclusion, the pros outweigh the cons when it comes to, basic safety protocols. Keeping yourself safe and doing winter sports is a big bonus for you and the people around you. Um, Wearing a helmet and while skiing and snowboarding is one of the most important things you can do while going down the hill, along with having good hill etiquette and bundling up for the weather. If you're going on a ski or snowboard trip, I urge you to take the information I've said to heart and stay safe out there and have fun. I am done.
Job.
Okay, that was about 6 minutes and 47 seconds. So you were definitely under the 7 minute mark. So
Okay.
who would like to start with feedback? Me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
You had a very well put together speech, and I could definitely tell you knew what you were talking about, and you like your experience with it, I can tell. I did notice that you had a multiple slides in your presentations, which is something I remember Dr. Gardner mentioning. But other than that, I think you put it together really well.
Thanks.
Yeah. I thought that you sounded really knowledgeable. Like you clearly chose a topic that you knew a lot about, and that helped you to sound really confident. So I thought that was good. Yeah, I think there were a couple of moments where like it seemed like the jitters came in a little bit, but you got
Oh
past
yeah.
you got past them really quickly though. And once you got into the meat of it, like you didn't have a lot of ums or that kind of thing. So you did a good job.
Are you ready, Sophia?
I guess so. Let me try to get it set up here. That is. Oh, uh, enable screen sharing, or is
Hmm?
I don't know. I've actually never done it before.
Bill?
What's up?
How to
Could you
present.
yeah, and can you enable the screen sharing? I think that's what
Are you not
it's
able to? I didn't know that was something I controlled. Hold on. How about that?
Oh, there we go. All right. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh, I don't really know how to full screen, but
There's at the bottom, there's a little icon, that one, I think. Oh, you were just there. Over. That.
there we go. All righty. So I'll start it off. How many people raise your hand if you know how to cook? Specifically like non like okay. Because I can tell you now that couldn't cook until like I'd say like pandemic when it was the highest. And it was only just like eggs and like grilled cheese. It's very simple stuff. But today I want to share information that I've found and that I've looked into. It's from like PubMed Central, and SAP is Appalachian Sustainable Agriculture Project. It's a volunteering association, and how this information that I found can be relayed to you guys. But as previously stated, there are many people who have not experienced like to learn how to cook. And some may have started cooking here at college. Some may have more restrictions than at home. But it's a very important component to learn and it helps benefit us, but it can also have its faulty bits. And to me, I had a cooking class in high school, but I learned all the basics like reading a recipe, and I think it was very helpful. I got to learn how to subsection it and how to handle a knife, is like how much soap you put into the sink when washing dishes. I know a lot of friends, family, and just a lot of people out there that don't learn these things. And I think because I think cooking classes should be included into classrooms. And with the inclusion of a cooking class, it will provide students the ability to gain experience with cooking, but also the opportunity to eat healthier and feel responsible and help meals. But there are a lot of problems. Some of them food. I think there we go. And unfortunately, a lot of children are deprived of learning how to cook meals. And there's a lot of children who grow up with healthy food because they don't learn how to cook. And because of it, they grow up with these health problems in the future, like diabetes or obesity, and they don't really understand what goes into the food or what they eat. And there's a lot more reasons, but most of them relate to time and money. And a lot of people are buying cheaper foods that contain a lot of high calories or very high energy, but they're less time to create to make there. And because of it, it's the healthier option. They don't really teach it to their children, don't teach the healthier option to children. They don't teach how to create the meals. And again, going into like time, some parents are really tired when they get home from 8-hour shift and all they want to do is just lay down, but they have a child to take care of. It's obviously very frustrating to come home and have to do more work. And here are a few solutions that I thought were helpful to obtain resources necessary for your option. And this is a harder one, but finding a motivation, especially as simple as like finding something you like taste-wise. And
Just so you know,
sometimes it's just more
Sophia,
fun to find.
you hit the 5-minute
5
mark. I just
minutes?
wanted to give you a heads up.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. And finding the motivation to cook, and also on a broader scale, connecting to the community. It'll help create a relationship with the farmers, especially like farmer markets where it's very, you get a lot of resources for cheaper. But unfortunately, a lot of bring back to classrooms, a lot of problems like schools not having enough funding to provide these cooking classes. But a solution would be going back, connecting to the community, because there are a lot of people out there who want to help volunteer, or there's I don't know, I have a personally, because we had a cooking class, we involved the community a lot, and we had like picnics, and it was just a lot of sit and chit chat and eating. But then there's a lot of beneficial values. Again, there's students get to learn that sense of self-confidence and the accomplishment of making a proper meal and feeling responsible for their roles that help create the meal. But it also creates a healthier option. It brings it open. And so I hope this, one sec. Oh. So I hope, oh shoot. So to bring it all together, it is worthwhile to a cooking class into the classrooms. You get students who get to learn the opportunity to cook, and they gain skills. And a lot of parents don't have the time or money. A lot of these solutions, some of these solutions, can help bring in fun to the learning, can make it more beneficial. And so I hope the next time you make a meal, boxed or not, if it is boxed, maybe try adding something a little to change the texture or the flavor, and maybe it can help you start feeling accomplished for something you made, and maybe, who knows, maybe you can teach that to, so thank you.
All right. So you were just right about at that 8-minute mark. So I guess who wants to start with feedback?
I can start. I thought that you had a really good topic. I think that that's, I don't know, I think it's an interesting thing that, like, I guess I think it's interesting because I agree with you that I think that there should be more learning of cooking for kids. I think I could see your nerves a little bit. There was like you were kind of searching for words a lot, which I think just with more practice and like repetition and repetition could be helped. But I think that you got through your thoughts and were able to explain yourself. So overall, I think you did a good job.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
I was about to literally almost say exactly what Mary Jo said. Yeah, I did notice that you were pausing a bit, but yeah, other than that, you did seem like you knew a lot about what you were talking about. And yeah, it's just like it's just an anxiety thing. I mean, I get it. I mean, I talk really fast when I'm nervous, so yeah.
I really like your topic, and I really think it's important. Like, I have personally like experienced what you're talking about. You definitely are talking about something very important, and you got all of the facts across and different solutions and everything. The time did run a little bit long. I wasn't sure if I should have interrupted again and threw out another time, but other than that, I think you did well. I don't think we decided who's going third. I'm willing to go third.
Uh, okay, yeah, you can go.
right.
Are you gonna run the timer for yourself or do you want someone else to run it for you?
Oh, I can get it, thanks.
Okay,
Then I won't have to interrupt me.
nice.
Okay. I think I hit the right button.
Oh, that's
Um,
your outline.
yeah, it's on the same like window.
Got it.
All right. Is that all you can see as my presentation?
Yep.
Okay, I have this weird pop-up.
Yeah, I
All right.
can see your windows if that's all right. I
Oh,
don't know.
that's fine.
Okay.
You guys are gonna do a lot of looking at my keyword outline though.
Okay.
All right. The world, as we know it, is coming to an end. This might sound dramatic, but it just isn't spoken about enough. The sources I'm giving you about the environment and recycling are both reliable and non-biased, and they are dedicated to careful research and studies. Some examples include National Geographic and the Earth Day organization. This is an issue that affects everything living from plants to animals to us, as well as non-living things like our water systems. A lot of you might already recycle or have a recycling bin at home like I do, but everyone should learn the importance of recycling and the different ways to do it. I'm going to talk about the problems and solutions to our recycling issue and the benefits that come from it. The problem right now is that our ecosystems and the environment are consistently and rapidly being polluted. The accumulation of global waste has a huge impact on human health, as over 1,000 chemicals are made in the plastic manufacturing. Wildlife, especially marine life, are affected because their species home is polluted by trash buildup in the ocean. Climate change is intensified as greenhouse gases are released from landfills. If the Earth continues to endure this pollution and garbage, climate will continue to be affected. We'll see a huge increase in temperatures and harsh weather, which will affect our food and water supply. I got that information from an article from the Earth Day organization. It is important to see how all of this happened. Plastic production has increased as half of all plastics made have been made in the last 15 years. And a lot of these are single-use plastics, which means we use them once and we throw them out right after. These plastics can contain additives that help them last up to 400 years. Trash in the ocean flows in from the land, and once it enters the ocean, it can transport anywhere around the world. Streams and rivers help bring trash into the seas. Now let's look at some of the trash buildup in the ocean here. It shows the amount of pieces of plastic is how it refers to it in all the oceans as well as the Mediterranean Sea. The North Pacific has 1,990 billion pieces of plastic. You might be wondering where all your trash goes. Under half of our trash thrown out is either reused, recycled, used to create energy, or used as compost. Unfortunately, 52% of our trash still ends up in landfills. Luckily, with every problem comes a solution, or at least a way we can help. The issue right now is that not all items are being recycled. This is because they're either in the wrong bin or there's attached trash. Some ways you can contribute is by understanding which symbols go with which plastics, rinsing out containers before you recycle them, and try to avoid or at least reduce the amount of single-use plastics you use. I got those ideas from a Columbia Climate School article. A larger or more broad solution would be for municipalities like cities or towns to promote agriculture and then use their food waste for compost farming or helping raise their livestock. And then those ideas came from the United Nations Environment Program. There are challenges and other perspectives to consider. Some may say that recycling does not help the overall issue of world pollution. But recycling reduces carbon emissions by 700 million tons per year. You might not be able to tell how much your recycling helps, but if we all continue to recycle, we can reduce the amount of carbon dioxide put out per year. An example given by the BBC article is that 1 ton of paper can save 17 trees and cut down water used in manufacturing by 50%. Let's look at the benefits of recycling. There are many benefits. First of all, it reduces waste, thus reducing the amount of greenhouse gases that go into a landfill. And when we recycle metal, we can reduce the amount of energy needed to make more, which conserves natural resources. There's economic benefits as well. In 1 year, recycling accounted for 757,000 jobs and $36.6 billion in wages. Now, let's look at the different types of recycling. There is e-waste, which includes like old phones or old batteries. There's glass waste that can be different bottles or broken mirrors. Metal waste can include cans or other things made of metal or steel. Paper includes different kinds of paper or cardboard. Organic waste can be food waste or different plants. And then plastic waste is anything made of plastic, such as bags or bottles. In conclusion, climate change is evident and recycling has proven to reduce the effects. It's important for all of us to understand how to recycle and the impacts if we don't and if we do. We looked at the significance of world pollution, different ways to contribute, and the environmental benefits that come from recycling. Next time you feel the convenient urge to throw away your plastic bottle, I hope you remember these facts and think twice about where it goes.
Job.
Thanks. There goes 2 weeks of stress.
No.
I was gonna say I enjoyed like your transitions. I thought it was pretty smooth.
It is sorry, I don't know. Hold on. I'm trying to. Okay. So that is it's okay that you went back and forth, but I'm not so sure how Rebecca will go off of that because I don't know exactly if she'll be
I
okay with
remember
it. But other than that, it was very informative and persuasive.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you clearly did a lot of research, and you did a good job of like citing your sources. The only thing I would say is to maybe find a more natural way to get the sources in there.
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, but you sounded really confident. You sound like you like put a lot of work into it and practiced and everything. So
Thanks.
yeah.
All right, you ready?
No, but it must be.
How it goes.
Okay. Let's see. Would you be able to stop sharing your screen?
Oh, whoops. How do I do that actually? There we go. Found it.
Okay. See, I'm gonna try and put mine already in there. Let's see how this works. Okay. Oh shoot. Can you see the I'm gonna take this off. There we go. Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yep. Perfect.
Okay. So in the US, we spend roughly 60% of our life in the workforce. We spend our childhoods in school and at the whims of our caregivers, and then with a lifespan of 77.5 years and then a retirement age of 67 years, that leaves 10 years in our old age to finally get to enjoy life and do what we want to do with our time. If we want to be able to have a meaningful and fulfilling life outside of our old age, we have to be intentional with how we're spending our time and energy during our working years. This is a topic that I've spent a lot of my adult life thinking about, and I'm a non-traditional student, so I'm older, and so I've actually had a little bit of an adult life. And also, I have some statistics and studies to back me up here. But as people who are all in college at the moment, we're all in a pivotal time in our life in which we're thinking, planning for our future. And I think it's important for us to be taking steps towards, taking steps toward, as we're taking steps towards furthering our career, it's important that we're not allowing money to be the deciding factor in what we do with our life. So today I'm going to be talking about why you should deprioritize money in your career and life plans, the tools that you can use to do so, and why it's going to help you lead a happier and more fulfilling life. I have to press it again. There we go. So as I said, you're going to spend a lot of your time working. Oh, sorry, I was meant to do that earlier. What's the problem? More people are more sad. So we are experiencing record highs in depression. In a Gallup panel study between 2015 and 2023, the rate of depression increased from 19% of people to 29% of people, which is pretty significant in a very short amount of time. There's also increases in burnout and anxiety and suicide. And it's likely that most everyone here has had experience with some or all of these things at some point or another, either in your own personal life or with people who are in your lives. So all of this stuff takes a huge toll, not only on us as individuals, but on our society as a whole. And there are many reasons why struggles with mental health have been on the rise in recent years, but something that I think is a big contributor that's not often credited is the fact that we live in a society that revolves around money and consumerism. So we live in a culture that's defined by money. There's this really great article in The Atlantic from 2017, and it talks about how and when the US started measuring progress in monetary terms and based on economics, as opposed to based on like social standards. And I wanted to read a quote from this article because I thought it was really powerful. It says, the turn away from these social indicators and moral statistics and towards financial ones means that rather than considering how economic developments could meet Americans' needs, the default stance in policy, business, and everyday life is to assess whether individuals are meeting the exigencies of the economy. So rather than having money work for us, we are now valued based on what we can do for the economy, which seems pretty backwards to me. This emphasis on money and this subconscious assessment created by our culture that our inherent value is determined by money has led to a phenomenon in our culture called toxic productivity, which I'm sure you've all heard of. But it's this drive to like always have to be working, always have to be doing. I'm never doing enough. If I'm take a minute to rest, then I'm wasting my time. This value system is inherent in our system, and it's not in our fault individually. It's just the culture that we live under at the moment. But it creates so much pressure and guilt for many of us that it makes us absolutely miserable. The goal in our life just becomes to get through the day or through the week, or through the year or through the semester or, whatever season, and we're no longer present in our actual life. So what can we do? I'm not going to tell you to stop working and go on be a vagabond and live in the forest because that's just not realistic. Although if you feel like you could make that work for your life, more power to you. I think that's great. But there are some small choices that you can be making every day, and even some bigger choices that you can make that can help improve your overall well-being. So
Just so you, sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but you hit the 5-minute mark. I just wanted to.
awesome, thank you. So things that you can prioritize instead of money are prioritize the things that you love, prioritize spending time with your family, prioritize spending time with your friends, prioritize your hobbies, going on walks, playing music, being in nature. All of these things have a proven impact on your mental health and well-being. Another thing that you can do, a big decision that you can make is instead of choosing a career just based on how much money you're going to make, choose a career that you think that you're actually going to find valuable and meaningful. Another thing that you can do is set boundaries within your work. So when it's the end of the day, you get done at 5 o'clock, put away your email, put away your phone. Don't think about work outside of work. Take your weekends for yourself to be with your friends and your family. Because that will help you feel more fulfilled. Also, there's a big study about the 4-day weekday, 4-day weekday. That sounds redundant. That's been done. There was a huge like meta-analysis done in New Zealand. And they saw that in jobs that implemented a 4-day work week, that's what it is, work week. They found that there was decreased burnout, decreased job stress, and then increased work satisfaction or like job satisfaction. And another thing that you can do that lessens the burden of needing to make more money is to spend less money. So really take a look at what you're spending on and only spend on things that you actually need and actually like find joy out of, and don't buy things just for the sake of having more things or because the commercial told you to or because an influencer told you to. Really look internally at what brings you joy and follow that. So you might be
hit 7
saying,
minutes.
okay, thank you. But I need money to live. And to that I say, you're right, you do need money to live. And that's why I'm not telling you to go live in the forest. We live in a society that is unfortunately run by money. And so in order to be able to survive in the society, we need to make a certain amount of money. But there is a threshold to how much money you need to make in order to actually lessen the mental burden of life. So, and that threshold is about $100,000. So if, I'm looking for my source here. Okay, I'll have to find it later. But there's a study done that talks about as your income increases, the amount of misery that you experience or the amount of mental distress that you experience decreases up until about $100,000. And after that point, there's no longer a correlation. Your misery is no longer determined by money. It is determined by other life factors. And so it's important to make sure that you're making enough money to survive, to cover your bases. But then after that, take responsibility for your life and do the things that are better for you that have nothing to do with money. And this will lead to immeasurable benefits for yourself. It leads to more fulfilling relationships. You're more present in your life. You will have the ability to find contentedness outside of monetary goals. And all of this is shown. There is a study done that they studied some of the poorest cultures in the world that had really high life satisfaction rates. And so they found in these studies that in these really poor cultures, they actually had higher rates of happiness than some of the happiest Western countries like Denmark and Finland that are acclaimed for being the happiest places in the world, or having the happiest people in the world. And the reason why these cultures are happier is because they prioritize their social life. They prioritize their life with their family and their friends. They take time to enjoy the simple pleasures in life, like listening to music or taking a walk. And they really value spending time out in nature. Another thing that's a huge benefit, I think, is that happier people make a happier and more functional society. So as we're, it makes us feel more tolerant of other people. It makes us more respectful towards other people when we're happy. Just think about like, if you haven't eaten, like if you're hangry or whatever, then everything is bad and you have like a bad attitude towards the world and you're more snappy towards other people. Whereas if you're fulfilled and if you're happy, you're a kinder person in general. And that is true for us as a society as well. If we are fulfilled, if our cup is filled, we're more likely to engage with the world in a more positive way. And that will only have a more positive impact on our society. So with all that in mind, it seems really clear to me that when it comes to work and your life while you're working, you should choose love, joy, fulfillment over making more money. And as you move into the next chapter of your life, make sure that you're not choosing the highest paying job just for the sake of making more money. Make sure that you're focusing in on what will really sustain you and build you up emotionally and spiritually. We can fight the culture of economic progress and toxic productivity by prioritizing the people and activities that we truly love. We can choose careers that bring us joy, we can set boundaries, and we can limit our spending to what we actually need. And in doing so, we're going to find ourselves happier and more fulfilled. Money does not define you, and your well-being is far more important than however much money you make.
Right. So it hit about 11 and a half minutes.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to happen. I'm a very
I can start with feedback. I think you chose a really powerful topic and all the information you had, and it was really like powerful and important, and I could definitely like, I would say, relate to it. Besides time running long, you did very well. You got your whole point across. I feel informed, definitely. I think you did very well.
Thank you.
Love the passion. You were very passionate about what you were talking about, and that is a good thing. I don't know how else to say that. All right, it will. Oh, Sophia, sorry.
No, it's
I thought
okay.
you were gonna-
I'm kind of scared of the internet right now.
Yeah, you froze for a
Cutting out.
second. It looked like you were gonna say something.
No. I don't know what I was gonna do. I would have like texted it and been like, yeah, internet is cutting out over here, but
Okay, well,
yeah.
I can wrap this up. I do need to ask permission to, because usually you post to Kaltura Media Space and then you upload the link to D2L. But what I did for my informative was that I uploaded it to my YouTube channel and I just sent it the link and Rebecca says I need to have permission to do that. So is that all right?
Well,
That's
yeah, it
fine.
works for me. You might have to text Sophia though. It seems like maybe her internet cut out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
I only have like 3 subscribers, which are all my oh. All right. And
All right.
I will upload that in just a moment.
Awesome. Good job,
Sweet. I
everybody.
appreciate it.
You're done.
Good job, guys.